who Mama Laverne is going to put together. Because Mama Laverne is almost 100 years old in this book. I had to make a decision whether I wanted to even mention that she was still alive, but she is still alive. Because I did research, and a lot of older people who live good lives of living past 100. So, okay, so now it's believable. So, AC, Alexandra Christina, is 15 years old, and she has the genes, blood of her parents, the best private investigator anywhere, and her mom was an investigative reporter. So she thinks she is the Black Nancy. And that's how she's going at this, so that's how I'm going to strive for. But if you like, your kids like whoever Nancy Drew, a lot of people read Nancy Drew, this is it. And I've got 2 covers, the same book. I'm gonna tell you why. This was the original cover. And it's the same book as the original cover. I came up with it like 4 years ago. But then when I wrote the book and took it before a focus group of librarians, teachers, and young adults, they said, oh, the book is good. We give it a 5 out of 5. But the cover is for older people, Mrs. Jackson. I say, well, it looks fine to me. But we like animated, illustrated cover, not animated, illustrated. So I work with my graphic designer to come up with this. She has the face of this young lady, and this is, but it's the same book. So then my adults, and I announced this is going to be the new cover. Then my older people who weren't supposed to even be reading it, designing for their grands, nieces, nephews, they said, well, we want the original cover. So I made the original cover available for them. Same book, 2 different covers. You decide. It's a mystery. If you like Nancy, and what's neat about this, I give you a glimpse of the Medeiros kids older. Like her sidekick is not Hunter, but Wolf. If you remember Ashton and Nettie, so they're in here. Because she's with, well not she's with, but her best friend is Wolf Sinclair. And then the techie genius in the book is Glenn Chenault, who is Nicholas Chenault from True Love, his son. So this way you get to see what the generation and a future book, people always ask me, I think the most popular question book of the offspring is Clayton's daughter. What is Remy doing? So Remy will appear in here. So you know she's in college. You know Jordan, who is the oldest Medeiros grandchild, she's in college. And you'll find out which one of those Garwoods or whatever one of them will be connected with. And you'll have a glimpse. So if you get it for your grandkids, but read it for yourself first. Explain the author. Oh, Lauren Medeiros. Okay. It doesn't have a Brenda Jackson. Anybody want to guess why they put Brenda Jackson on here? Huh? Well, because I don't want the kids to say, Mommy, when is my next Brenda Jackson? In my very first Medeiros book, she's Justin's wife, and she wrote children's stories. So when I decided on a pen name, I decided, okay, let me do Lauren Medeiros. So Lauren, even if you read the bio, it says she lives in Houston, Texas. A doctor, Dr. Justin Medeiros, and they got 3 children. I'm playing it all the way. Okay? So please go out. It's #1 on Amazon. Okay, but I need y'all to keep it there. Okay? And the age group is from 9 and up because I had a 82-year-old woman who wrote me and said, I enjoyed that.
Wow.
Yeah. And she's in the summer reading. That's why I brought it out now for summer reading.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Lisa. It's so nice to meet you. I've been reading you since you first came out. So my question is, how did you, the characters seem so real. How did you embody those characters? Did you study human nature? How did you come up with the character stories? We hear so many authors talk about their process of arriving at characters. I'm wondering, how do you arrive at characters?
Okay, first of all, authors are either plotters or pantsers. A plotter plot everything. They go by chapter, they pre-plot. Are you a plotter or you a pantser?
Monica.
I'm a pantser.
Okay, a pantser means you right by the seat of your pants. I'm a pantser. When I sit down, I have a general idea, but I don't know, I don't flush out the story until I start writing it. And it drives my editors crazy because I can't give them a synopsis that's going to be the end. Because they say, Brenda give you a synopsis, but it may be something totally different when she writes the book. And that's true. Because until I sit down and write the story, how I know my characters is because I'm driven by the characters and not the plot. I know my characters. When I introduce the Westmorelands, the Madeiras to you all, I also introduced them to myself. And I got to know them. And I got to know them well. So when I write the next one in the group that I want to write about, it's because I know them, they're like a real family member. But now, because I know the characters, I don't know the plot until I start writing. I have an idea of what plot I want to put them in, but it writes itself.
Yes, I'm sure. My name is Tiffany. First thing I want to say, and I don't want to take it out of context, I'm probably the youngest person in the room. But I just want to give you respect and honor to say that you've been writing longer than I've been living, and I just really appreciate your work. And it just goes to show the Black excellence in being passed down through lineage, because I get to appreciate work that came before me. So my question is, reading the book, we didn't talk about it, and I was like, oh, she asked us a question and she knows I get to. Why did you decide to allow Waylon to marry and not Victoria? Because for me as a millennial, it made me heartbroken to see that she just went on to complete her career and just move forward. And I don't want to say settled, but he settled in a marriage with someone that, of course, provided companionship in terms of doing life together, but he didn't truly love her. And I also feel bad for the wife. I'm like, girl, if that man don't love you like that,
Because in that time, with him being a ranch owner, he inherited the ranch when his daddy died. It was expected to him to carry the line on and not necessarily her. I mean, Milton was the one that was going to inherit Whispering Pines. So I thought about, her meeting someone, he meeting someone, but I'm like, okay, this is going to be messy if his wife dies and she's already married to somebody. So, and she said that I will love you forever, and he said the same thing. And he told the woman that he married, I made it easy because she didn't love him either. She was forever in love with her husband. But to answer your question, the reason I married him off in her, because it was expected that the man, once he inherited the land, and he waited 5 years for her to return. So he didn't fall in love and move on. He basically settled and moved on because that's what was expected. Because the land had to go to someone. And if he hadn't married and had a child, then the land, who knows, maybe Charlotte would have come back, I don't know. But so it was up to him as the remaining Satterfield to produce and move the land on. Where Victoria, she never was under any pressure to do that. And so her thing, and I think women, we married for love before we would just marry to settle.
Questions?
Yes.
All right.
So, I want to say this first. I have been reading your books and following you since 1995. I bought your first book when it first came out. So I've waited 30 years literally for this moment. Literally. And I have a picture of a Mama Laverne, our grandmother, who's 102, still living. And my question is, I hate to, I know this is kind of on a sad note. At some point, I know that there's a plan for Mama Laverne's
Transition.
yes. Yeah.
We don't want to talk about it. And she has pretty much prepared the family in spilling the tea when she saw AC and Wolf playing around in the yard at the wedding. She said, I won't be here to see it happen. What she means, she won't be here to see the wedding. She may be here when they realize because they're kids now, they don't even think about that in the YA world. But she won't be here for the actual wedding because they're in high school. So you're looking at college and what happened after that. She knows she's not going to live the 106, 107. So she is preparing them. I won't be here, but I know it's going to happen. So when it happens, because I had a choice whether I wanted it to happen in this book, and I just couldn't. I just couldn't at this time. But at some point, maybe not in this series, because I don't know, this series is going to take place all during the same school year. She is a sophomore, Wolf is a senior. So because he's her best friend, her sidekick, it has to take place. So all my series of books, like Nancy Drew didn't age for a long time. They don't really age. Now she will age because her birthday is an April school year. So she will age during the school year. Wolf won't because he's already 17 and that's when he's going to graduate at 17. But he has to be in high school. Because if he leaves, she leaves her biggest supporter, even though he told her, I'm going to leave you with Cherokee, which is the actual Wolf. It's not like having him there as the one that tells her, no, AC, you shouldn't do that. She is his source of reason. So, yeah. So Mama Laverne, at some point, we will have to say goodbye. And I won't show how it happened or when it happened. I'll just start talking about her in the past tense or make reference to Mama Laverne because everybody that's born now knows her. You know, even J kids and the great grands. But yeah, but at some point Mama Laverne will.
So you know this is my biggest literary moment ever today, right?
Thank you.
That's gonna make that moment so much easier for us to.
Yeah.
Because we don't wanna know when she goes.
Yeah.
I have a question, not necessarily about spilling the tea in itself, but when you first announced spilling the tea, I had this like wild thought. I was like, oh, is this a book crossover? The Westmorelands are always finding relatives and people like that. We had the Outlaws. And so I thought there was like a crossover moment in my head. That was the drama I had made up. But do you ever think you'll do a crossover series with the Medeiros? Because they're like so strong, powerful, and stand on their own. Do you ever think you would cross those books over in the future?
That's a good question.
In the past, it couldn't be done because of contractual. I had to write the Medeiros, and then I have a separate contract for the Westmorelands. Now, what I have done is kind of like extended it. Like when I married Wade to a studio, I was able to do that. And that was with, we don't know, but. And even with the Medeiros, I have bought the Westmorelands and the Medeiros together through the Madeira chic friend, Rashid.
Yeah.
Who's married the sister of Delaney's Desert Chic. So I kind of like pushed the envelope
And
a little bit.
A little bit in the Catalina, one of the Catalina.
Right, when I brought the
The
steel to
senator.
Catalina Cole. So I pushed the envelope. They didn't like it, but contractual, they prefer me not to do it. But as far as me mixing the Westmorelands, like with the marriage, I like keeping them separate. You know, I don't care if they're friends of the Madeiras, like Rashid, you know, but I want to be able to say, this is a Westmoreland, this is a Madeira, this is a Bennett. Right. Now that's now. In the future, I may say, what the hell, let me just get them all together. But right now, yes, contractual, they have to